31 days ago, this guy hit 200,000 followers. Now he's at 318,000. And I spent the last 6 hours analyzing how he did it so that you don't have to. My name is Gael and I've generated millions of views for my clients and for myself as well, as you can see, and generated tens of thousands from that content every month. In this video, I'm not only going to break down the exact framework he uses to generate millions of views every single time, but also the exact process he used to get there, some do's and don'ts that you can implement straight away into your content, and some missing bits into his funnel that are making him leave money on the table. Because with this audience, he could be making way more than he's probably making. Essentially, by the end of this video, you're going to have a template that you can use, copy and paste into your content, no matter your niche. Consistency and repetition are two fairly obvious factors, so I'm not going to focus too much on those. Just for you to know, he's been posting for more than a year now, and he's been posting 3 to 5 pieces of content every single week. But the key is that he didn't just blast content randomly, he switched between trending formats until he found his voice. We've got some BTS shots, we've got some split screens, we've got some authentic shots, we've got some shots with other people. Then he started leveraging viral content. But from the very first video he's posted using the format that he's now using, it was pretty clear that this was the winning one. It took him a while to realize it, but when he actually did, that's when his profile actually blew up. But in my opinion, the most important thing is likability. Now, sounds this like wishy-washy thing, but actually likability is just authenticity plus humor plus confidence. Like, if you look at his content, it's really hard to not like him. Now we know how he got there and we know the winning format he's using. But let's break down this format to understand actually why it works so well before we wrap everything up in do's and don'ts and I reveal the missing pieces. Everyone tells you gotta grab their attention in the first 3 seconds. You gotta have a scroll stopping hook, but nobody tells you how to actually do that. This is how he does. He interrupts the pattern by starting straight into the action. He doesn't do a hook like a talking head hook. He just starts and he starts talking while he's already doing the thing that he's gonna explain. Let me show you an example.
Cross your ankle over your knee and gently push toward the ground. You unlock your lower back.
In the first 3 seconds, he's already delivered a ton of value. The best videos amongst the best performing videos on his page are using negative hooks. So instead of using if you do this, then this, if you don't do this, then this, or if you don't do this, then you won't get this. And even on this profile, the videos that are performing best are using negative hooks.
Kids will never get faster.
He's not using B-roll, he's not using flashy edits at the beginning, he's just using creative shots. But what's even more important in the hook is that he introduces some psychological triggers. For example, he introduces FOMO, fear of missing out. If you don't do this, you won't get this. And if you don't implement this now, you won't get this benefit. So he gets people to take action right now. And this is what's gonna get people to save and share. Remember that your goal online shouldn't be to just provide value for the sake of providing value, should be to provide value so that people can actually implement the tips that you're giving them and you can actually change their life for better. And the reason why people are consuming his content and most probably implementing these exercises into their lives is because he promises an instant gratification as a result of doing those exercises. And then it's refreshing. Like, when you scroll, you always see the same stuff over and over and over. And finally, someone creative, someone authentic with different angles, different formats, and some actual advice. So let's zoom out for a second. Now we know how he got there. We know the winning format and we know how to grab people's attention. But how do we keep people engaged until the end of the video so that they can get to the call to action? That's all about delivery, structure, and visuals. Now, the first thing that you can notice is the confident tone. You listen to him and you keep listening to him because he's so confident in what he's providing that you trust him right away. Because if someone maybe out of shape, maybe a bit shy, would provide the same tips, you would probably not implement those tips because you don't trust that person because he's not in shape and he doesn't sound confident while delivering that same value. Like I said, there is almost like an instant gratification after the other. Do this so that you get this. And people get a little dopamine hit. And then another one. Do this so that you get this instead of this. It's really outcome driven, like outcome after outcome after outcome. So people can almost feel the benefits even without actually implementing the tips just yet. We touched on humor earlier when we talked about likability, but in a world where content is becoming like almost corporate, more and more people are providing value and it's all the same, like all the same scripts, ChatGPT scripts, it's just becoming boring. So this is like refreshing, some humor, some authenticity, some unscripted content. Look, he's a doctor, so he could use super complicated terms to explain the same concepts, but because he wants to make the content really digestible and mainstream, he uses on purpose very simple terms, like third grade terms, so that it's extremely actionable, that people actually, like I said, implement those exercises. Probably they do them right away. Like if they are on their couch, I'm pretty sure that what happened, some people just scrolled, they saw the video and they tried the exercise right away. And then what did they do? Of course, they saved it for later to remember to do those exercises, and they shared that same video with other people that had the same problems. And the reason why all this works is because these problems are simply extremely relatable. If you notice on his channel, in the beginning he was posting like gym content, blah blah blah, and yes, it's fine, but like gym exercises are great for gym people, right? For people hitting the gym. But this content that he's providing now is valuable for every single person on the planet pretty much, especially now that we're all sitting all day long. These exercises are super valuable because pretty much, I would say probably 80% of the population has these problems. And another technique he uses to be even more relatable are analogies. For example, your knees like sound like a crunchy bag of chips. Now, when it comes to visuals, you might think that the reason why his content looks so clean is because of the camera, but in actual fact, his camera is nothing special. You can achieve the same results with an iPhone. The key is angles, framing, lighting. In general, these are just clean shots, nicely composed. So you don't need to buy a camera, you can just achieve the same results with your iPhone. But because you want to keep the pace high, you should change the shot every 3 seconds max. If you watch his videos once again, you will notice pretty clearly that tight cuts, clean shots like we said, and the duration. Rarely his videos surpass 30 seconds, simply because we don't have attention span. He could deliver like 6, 7, 8 exercises instead of 4, but he keeps the number to 4 so that it's more digestible, because people otherwise would forget the first exercises. And there is no talking head. When he's talking and he's not showing something, at least he's in a nice environment, like with some background or sat somewhere. But this is, in my opinion, probably the biggest takeaway you should take away from this video. He's not crazy with exercises. If you really pay attention to his videos, he's probably showing over and over the same 10 exercises, and that's it. The thing that he's changing between videos, besides the angles, besides the shots, are the angles. So he's changing the angle, how he attacks the topic. So the topic is the same, the exercise is the same, but the hook is slightly different. Once is like knee pain, once is like hip flexor pain, and then he ties the benefit to something practical in people's life. That's why he can just keep repeating over and over the same exercises, and people won't get bored. First of all, because anyways he's trying to reach new people with every piece of content, but then because again it doesn't seem like every piece of content is the same, because the shots are different, and because the angles he takes to talk about that topic and to explain that exercise are different. The benefits are kind of different as well. And lastly, before we move on to the do's and don'ts, the outro. He wouldn't get so many subscribers, so many followers, if he wouldn't know how to do proper outros. The biggest thing is that he blends the call to action, for example, save this video or do this now, inside the value part in a very creative way. For example, if you save and do these exercises, you will stop complaining so much, right? Or you will stop working like an 80 years old. And if you still do, then it's not on me. Really, really creative. And again, this improves likability and authenticity. And then he's got a very unique outro where he doesn't ask people to follow. He just redirects them to the page. So he goes like, check out my page for more, right? Very authentic, very unique. And he redirects people on the page. He doesn't ask to follow. He just wants people to watch or to consume other content on his page, to get nurtured by that content and to follow as a consequence of that. This way he attracts more qualified people that like him more and are more likely to come back and stick to content instead of just asking people to do things. Also because people are kind of tired, like people don't want to be told what to do. So these are really good, again, takeaway. Do not ask people to follow you, just ask them to check out your page for more of that kind of value. So they go on the page only if they actually want more of that value. And when they go on your page, because there is so much value and it's so useful and you are so authentic and refreshing and unique, they are going to follow because they want more of you. Alrighty, now you have the structure, but you're still missing the do's and don'ts that if you don't do or do can ruin your content. Again, he uses psychology, loss aversion in hook, as well as, like we said, addressing universal pain points like pretty much everybody has the same problems. He promises a result straight away. You decrease this, you unlock this, you relieve this pain. Like we said, he provides an outcome. And if you pay close attention, sometimes he's using some cracks sound effects. It's clearly a sound effect, it's not the actual crack. But because he uses that sound, people almost experience that feeling of like cracking, which is satisfying. And because of that, they are even more incentivized to implement the value. Make sure you don't chew their ear off. For maximum 5 tips or exercises, whatever you are providing, link each exercise, each benefit, each step to the other so that you build a logical progression, and use a quick delivery. There is this concept that is becoming more and more important on YouTube and Instagram especially, which is value density. People don't have time. Like the attention span is becoming smaller and smaller and smaller. So people want the same value provided in a shorter period of time. That's also why Instagram implemented the 2x thing. You know, you can press and hold on the left or right side of the screen and the video plays at 2x. Instagram implemented that because people want to consume more information and gather more knowledge in a shorter period of time. So why don't you just simplify their life, and instead of chewing their ear off, just cut short and remove all the fluff and just provide straight value. That's not something I'm necessarily a fan of on YouTube. I prefer on YouTube to still have more of a discussion with the person, like I'm talking to somebody, like I'm talking to a friend. But on Instagram, you just gotta fire off stuff. And of course, super important, talking heads are dead, so demonstrate while talking instead of just talking and maybe adding a B-roll on top. Instead of using you should do this, you might experience that, just use will, you will experience this, you will do that, do this, do that. That just builds more authority. But at the same time, he's not like super authority like a person you cannot relate to. He builds authority through confidence and expertise, but at the same time, because of his humor and because of his likability, he still seems approachable. So seems like a friend. That's why you follow him. And then remember to bake into your piece of content analogies and humor. And we pretty much covered the outro already. But now the don'ts, which are probably even more important than the do's. In the hook, do not use weak language. Like we said, might, could, maybe. Be strong, firm, that builds authority and trust immediately. Be specific, don't overpromise, and again, don't chew their ear off. Keep it short, concise, punchy, and provide value density. Don't try to be someone like you are not, just be authentic like you are in a group of friends. And there you have it. Now, if you implement this framework, right, and you do it for long enough, and you switch between formats until you find the winning one for you, your specific audience, and your specific niche, and you do it over and over, you're gonna grow a channel. But how do you convert these people? Because he's doing great, he's getting a ton of followers, but I'm not sure how much money he's making, to be honest. And I feel like there are some gaps into his funnel, and I'm gonna show you how to fill those gaps to increase conversion, because he's really leaving money on the table, in my opinion. The first thing that he's missing is a clear bio, because you don't know exactly what he's doing, who he's helping. You know, he's providing fitness advice, health advice, a bit of stretching, a bit of physiotherapy, a bit of gym, sometimes even nutrition, and then he goes online coaching. But you don't know, like, what's your expertise? Just think about this for a second. There are two barbershops. One is for men and women, and one is for men only. The price is the same, the location is the same, the place looks the same, the reviews are the same. Which one do you choose? You choose the one only for men if you are a man, right? Because it's more specific. The same principle goes for a coach, right? You choose a coach that is more specific to what you're looking for. He hasn't got proof. Like, you can see that he's an expert because of the value he's providing, but he hasn't got case studies. So, okay, you know this stuff and you probably did it for yourself as well, but how can I know that you can actually do it for me? So result-based marketing, again, is becoming more and more important, because value, you know, even ChatGPT can actually provide these tips, right? ChatGPT is not going to deliver these tips in such a nice and compelling way with such a great humor. But the point is, why would I trust you and not somebody else with a worst delivery, but more case studies? But imagine if he also had an optimized profile with loads of case studies in there, like people would buy straight away. Because from my perspective, one reasons for me not to buy, besides the bio being too generic, I don't know what exactly is his area of expertise, is how can I know that you're actually gonna bring me results? This is also for me a big no-no. He hasn't got a long-form platform. He's got a YouTube channel, but he's just reposting, probably with an automation, the same videos that he's posting on Instagram and TikTok to YouTube. Now, if you really want to convert people, you want to build trust, you want to charge high ticket, you gotta have a long-form platform where you can actually spend more time with them. You need to reach 5 to 7 hours of content consumed before people buy from you. Usually, it also depends on your ticket, etc., and your likability, your personality, your ability to sell, your case studies. But generally speaking, you want people to spend as much time as possible with you, because the more time they spend with you in a shorter period of time, the shorter the conversion cycle. And a great way to shorten the conversion cycle is doing what I'm doing. So spending more time with your audience. Maybe you attract people through Instagram because it's a bit easier, it's a lower entry barrier platform, but then you need to nurture these people, and the best way to do that and to spend more time with them is to just move them into another platform where you can actually spend more time with them, provide more value, so that they're gonna be more likely to buy sooner. And another thing that in my opinion is making him lose a bit of connection with people is the lack of lifestyle content on his profile. He's got some lifestyle pictures, but they are quite old, and I don't know why he's got a second profile, like a second person profile type of thing. You can find it here. Like, why don't you just post those lifestyle pictures onto your channel? Because I'm pretty sure that if people, you know, besides seeing that you're a good looking guy with a nice physique and a lot of expertise, if they also see that you like wearing, I don't know, a specific type of clothes, or you have other passions, like for example, I think he's playing piano, like all these small things are elements that can help people connect with you at a deeper level. Meaning, again, you shorten the conversion cycle and you increase conversion. So why would you have two different profiles? Just try and have everything in one and mix like 50-50 lifestyle stuff and value-driven content and authority building content. So just a few quick action items for you. Be consistent, try different formats, 3 to 5 posts per week, use negative hooks and start straight into the action, build FOMO at the beginning, use a confident tone, use the immediate cause and effect framework, bake humor onto your videos, use simple terms and simple exercises and simple explanations, use analogies and be relatable. Focus on clean shots rather than crazy editing and high-end cameras. You don't need to always come up with new value, new topics, new ideas, just provide the same ideas with different angles. And blend the call to action inside your video in a creative way because people don't want to be told what to do. Now you know how to craft viral videos on Instagram, but if you want to know how to craft viral videos on YouTube, check out this video on the screen now.